Assalamu alaikum and welcome to day 25 of our How to Read Quran series, a program on the Quranology Institute's YouTube channel. Today I will be speaking about Musa and his relationship with your Quran study. So this is not a video about the story of Musa per se, but rather how it relates to how you can understand what Quran is all about. Now, this may seem a little bit unusual, and I myself it did not occur to me initially until I saw certain verses which show this very close relation. Growing up, I grew up as a traditional Muslim, and so the story of Musa as well as the other Quranic personalities were not so relevant to me. I mean, it all came in one volume, Stories of the Prophets by Ibn Kathir. And essentially it's about story of miracles and how the prophets came to us, the people, to make their rituals to be only for Allah. That's essentially what it's about. But when I became a Quranist, when I put all those things to one side, the stories of Quran became very relevant to me. And I found Quranists paid much more attention to the story of Musa. And Mr. Pervez, actually, Ghulam Muhammad Pervez, he pointed out that the system of Fir'aun, the nemesis of Musa, the Pharaoh of Egypt, his system is the system which is opposite of Islam, the system of oppression. And obviously Quran is against oppression. I know it's ironic in this day and age, but that is the fact if you read Quran. So should we see the story of Musa? In my opinion, we should see it as operational Islam, Islam in action. And the story itself from the beginning, and when I say from the beginning, I mean textually. You read from chapter 2, where Musa appears, until I think chapter 87, I think is last mention of Musa. All these will give you hints on what Quran's application is all about. Now, I'm not saying that other stories do not have relations with Quran. In fact, the story of Isa is also closely related with Quran, and hopefully we can do that before Ramadan is over. But the story of Musa is the most closely related with Quran. And I will show you as a demonstration now. Now, the first story, the first mention of Musa is in chapter 2, verse 51, where it talks about Musa going away for contemplation, the so-called 40 nights. Now, during this time is when he receives Quran. So that is the first step. When you want to begin your Quranic study, you have to receive Quran. Now, I don't mean receiving it like Prophet Muhammad in the cave, as traditionally speaking. I mean, wherever you receive it from, that's how you receive it. And that's how Musa first started. He started with the 40 nights, where he contemplated Quran. I mean, I don't believe it's literally 40 nights, but let's not get into that right now. Next, God gave him Al-Kitab wal-Furqan, that he may be guided. Al-Kitab is something which is written. In other words, he has an instruction. And also Furqan, showing a clear separation between wrong and right. So he may be guided. He may have progress. لَعَلَّهُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, to be guided. You see? So when you are muhtadi, you are being guided, then what happens is you make progress. Next verse, verse 54, Musa says to his people, verily you are oppressing your soul. Zalamtum nafs, or zalamtum anfusikum, sorry. And fatubu ila barikum, so turn to your maker, faqtulu anfusikum, and neutralize your souls. That's the beginning of the Quranic program. where you contemplate your soul and you prepare your soul for the next stages of development. How do I know this? Because chapter 13 verse 11 and chapter 8 verse 53 says that we will not change your condition until you change what is in your souls. Very interesting, right? I mean, this is the beginning of the Musa program. It's also the beginning of the Quranic program. So, I mean, I could go on with this passage if all day long. It's just that we don't have the time, and you should read the passage for yourself. Chapter 2, verses 47 to 103. Lots of Musa references there. Next, look at chapter 6, verses 91 to 92. 91 speaks about the book which has been reduced to paper, as in like Quran. And verse 92 mentions Hada Kitab, this book. And it says that this book is blessing, etc., etc. It gives you growth and so on and so forth. So Musa and this book, chapter 6, verses 91 to 92. But that's not all. In verses 154, it says that we gave Musa al-Kitab tamama. So we gave Musa the book completely. In other words, Musa received the entire set of instructions from Allah. And the next verse, it says again, وَهَذَا kitab, and this book. So can you see the relations? When you follow the program of Musa, what will happen is you will receive the entirety of the Quranic program. That's the purpose of the story of Musa. Chapter 59, verse 21, uniquely mentions the receiving of Quran. When Quran is being received and it descends on a mountain, the mountain will fall in fear of Allah. Because, you can imagine a mountain and it falls. This is obviously a metaphor to tell us about the conceptual power of Quran. Next, look at chapter 7, verse 143, where Musa goes away for the aforementioned 40 nights. And he asks to see the tajalli, or the manifestation of Allah. And Allah says, no, I will not manifest on this earth or in this universe, but instead, when the tajalli comes, the mountain falls. Exactly like the Quran, the mountain falls. Why? If you look at verse 144 and 145 onwards, Musa receives the alwah, or the tablets. And the tablets explain all things. Just like Quran's story, chapter 12, verse 111, is also tafsil kulli shay. It elucidates all things. So you see, that is where you receive Quran in full, and you see the conceptual power of Quran. But here's the thing though, this comes at the end of Musa's mission. In other words, he has emancipated his people from Fir'aun. So he receives Quran in the beginning, but he only understands it in full at the end of the mission. So this is not like, okay, you receive Quran, that's it, that's the end of the mission. No, you have to understand it. You have to receive Al-Kitab wal-Furqan. And that will take you to the end of your mission. So what you should do now is to really look at the story of Musa and Fir'aun, see the rhetoric used by Musa, rhetoric used by Fir'aun, the philosophy of Musa and the philosophy of Fir'aun, and you will come to understand how Quran is like in operation. And you will find that in understanding that story, you will see the program of Quran very, very clearly. And it's very surprising to see what it is, because the one who oppresses there is Fir'aun. Fir'aun actually wants to kill people who change their religion, for example. And yet, Muslims of today, on the whole, they want to follow Fir'aun's path rather than Musa's path. Isn't that very, very ironic? So, many thanks for viewing this video, and I hope to see you again for the last 5 days of Ramadan 2017. Thank you for viewing.